I'm proud of the work that my office has done to serve every constituent and every community in this district. We have closed over 4,500 individual cases, brought back over $20 million in benefits due to constituents. I've held over 1,000 events in 22 months in this district, separate and apart from the time that I spend in Washington, D.C. No one will ever outwork me, and no one will ever get me to stop fighting for you.
And from that speech to New York One this morning, Representative Lawler joins us now. Good morning. Congratulations.
Good morning, Pat. Thanks for having me.
What does this win mean for Republicans in New York, and what did you take away from this win?
Look, I think we saw continued improvement in New York for Republicans. Yes, we came up short in 3 seats, but we held 7. You saw significant movement in New York City and the suburbs towards Donald Trump. He did far better than he did 4 years ago in New York. In my district, for instance, this is a district he lost by 10 points. When all the votes are counted, he might actually win it or come up just short. Which is obviously significant movement. And you see the results in my race. And ultimately, I said from the beginning, if we held my seat, we would keep the majority. And that's looking very, very likely.
There is a process now where we try to separate some of the Trump campaign bluster from what Donald Trump actually intends to implement in the White House and from what he's able to implement. I want to talk, though, about bipartisanship, and you brought that up in the remark that we played from your speech the other night. Is there a space for Republicans to pick up some of the things that Democrats in New York and the New York suburbs are interested in?
Oh, look, no question. I am proud of the work that I did in this Congress. I was rated the 4th most bipartisan member of Congress. I passed 10 bills, 5 of which were signed into law by President Biden. I've worked very closely with Democrats like Richie Torres in the Bronx or Josh Gottheimer from New Jersey on issues that matter to New Yorkers. And I think, certainly that lifting the cap on salt is going to be of paramount importance as we negotiate the tax bill. That is something that I am fully committed to doing. And I've been very clear, I will not support a tax bill that doesn't do that. So there's going to be a lot of opportunity to work together if people are willing to. What I would suggest to some of my Democratic colleagues is this is not a time to rehash the first Trump administration and be part of the resistance, quote unquote. This is a time to find area of commonality and compromise. The American people spoke very loud and clear on Tuesday night. Donald Trump won every swing state and won the national popular vote for the first time since George W. Bush in 2004. So Americans are looking for us to address the big issues, from the economy to the border to the international crises that we're dealing with. And I think all of us have a responsibility to find area of agreement and commonality. And I will continue to do that, as I have done in this Congress and in this divided government. And I hope my Democratic colleagues will do the same in this next Congress.
Trump has really made immigration an issue, where he has described immigrants as invaders and enemies from across the border. It's been very strong language. Should he be going through with this mass deportation that he has promised without due process, or should that policy be more nuanced?
Well, look, I think obviously we have significant challenges here. We've had over 10.5 million migrants come into the United States in the last 3.5 years under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. New York City and New York State are crumbling under the weight of it, spending billions of dollars of taxpayer money. It's unsustainable. The fact is, you had tens of thousands of people cross the border who are criminals, people who committed murder, people who committed rape or assault, that are here in the United States. Just last week, we had a situation in my district where a illegal immigrant killed a young boy and injured his mother and brother, and should never have been here, and in fact was previously deported and came back into the United States.
But we've heard those stories. The question though is, can this be implemented on a mass scale?
Well, but Pat, it starts with deporting criminal aliens, and they should be. And that is something that I think the president has been very clear about. I think obviously you're not looking to break up families. There are people who have been here for decades who are undocumented, whose children or grandchildren are citizens of this country. And so, yes, there does require a level of nuance here. And that's something that I am committed to. I've been very clear about that. But there's no question that people who are here illegally and committing crimes, and we've seen it in New York City, in one precinct in Manhattan, 3/4 of the people being arrested are migrants. So there are real challenges that we have to deal with, especially around public safety. And I think that is obviously one area where we will look at deporting those who are committing crimes while here. But there needs to be an overhaul of the system. This system is not working. President Trump has been very clear about that. House Republicans have been very clear about that. And I think you will see a border security measure that will be the toughest border security measure to ever pass Congress and be signed into law, because we cannot continue to allow this influx of people, human trafficking, women and children being sold into prostitution, drug trafficking, fentanyl pouring into our country. We have a responsibility to protect our citizens here in the United States. And the American people voted for that on Tuesday. They made it very clear with the results.
Reelected to the northern suburbs, representing the Republican Party, Mike Lawler. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thanks, Pat.